So hey guys, this is Wednesday here on Paganperspective, and it is subs week, and it's Cole. Look.
Hi.
And it's Brendan, and we're together right now. And so we're filming this video as a collaborative video because Cole missed last Friday due to issues. But let's go. We have questions. It's getting to know you week as the anniversary, and happy 3 years. Yay, 3. Okay, so questions.
Okay, so the questions are on my phone, and the first one is, what is your name? And the one that you use on YouTube, or your real one, or whatever, I guess. Purplekilljoy is obviously my name on YouTube, and then Cole is my name in real life.
And my real name is Brendan, and I go by twistedwitch here on YouTube.
And it says, how would you describe your religious belief to our viewers, using labels or otherwise? And I'm a Taoism exploring Wiccan, eclectic Wiccan, I guess you could say.
And I would say that I am a wandering dedecan and teacher of the wildwood tradition, and a reclaiming witch, and a shamanic witch. Yeah.
And the next question is, how long have you been a part of the Paganperspective? And didn't me and you get added around the same time?
Yeah, it's been like about a year. It's been over a year because we did the anniversary videos last year. So we're in the second year. Well, yeah, we'd be going into our second year. So we've completed a whole year.
What movie can you quote word for word? Mine is Harry Potter because, yeah, I love Harry Potter.
Which Harry Potter?
Any Harry Potter. Any of them.
And I would say, for me, it would either be The Craft, and Empire Records is pretty high up there. And Practical Magic is pretty high too.
And the next question is, what cartoons do you still watch? And I watch a crap load of cartoons, and everybody kind of makes fun of me for doing that since I'm 21. But I got this one addicted to Adventure Time, so yes!
That's right, I watch a lot of anime, so does that count as cartoons? Because I watch that, like most mornings I'll get up and watch cartoons, but yeah, like Cole said, I'm addicted to Adventure Time right now, because it's amazing. And I like all the crazy adult cartoons anyway.
Who's your favorite character in Adventure Time?
You can't ask me that question.
That's the next question.
What? Really?
No, I'm joking.
That's not the next question. I can't choose between Jake and Finn. It's too hard.
What word do you love the sound of? Mop.
Titillating. I've always liked the word titillating. And, what's
it? Is it because of tits?
Maybe. Meniscus.
I don't even know what that one is.
And rhombus. I'm pretty sure meniscus, if that's the word I think it is, it's that
redundant.
Film. It's the film that forms when you pour water into something.
What's the name of a shoelace tip?
An aglet?
Yes, that word's fun too. Anyway, what goals do you have for your education? And I just decided that they said in parentheses, in this case, let's say for your religious education, but I'm just going to answer both because it'll be short anyway. In my career-wise, I plan on becoming a therapist, and spirituality-wise, lately I've been working with a lot of energies of death and accepting death and things like that. So.
Well, I'm currently a year into my shamanic craft apprenticeship with G'day Palmer, and I'm currently teaching as well within the wildwood tradition. So I'm enjoying all that, and I suppose work-wise, I want to look at possibly going into photography in the next year or so, and kind of getting my skills up for that. And yeah, one day being an awesome photographer would be amazing.
What was the last sporting event you went to?
Last sporting event I went to?
The last one I went to was just some random team. Like I don't even know who it was, because I was just going because I've never been to one before, so I wanted to go to one. But I went to a baseball game and had all those like expensive baseball-y game foods and such. But yeah.
Can I count something that I was in? Do you reckon?
I guess.
Well, the last thing.
It's a sporting event.
Well, it would have been a Quidditch match. It was a ground Quidditch match, and that would have been like
what?
Last year. I think that was the
last
last sporting thing I went to.
I want to do it.
Most likely.
What song was unique to your family growing up?
Oh.
Mine was Abracadabra by the Steve Miller Band, and I mean, it wasn't really because of any reason, it's just because we listened to it a lot. So we listened to that song a lot growing up.
I think for me it would probably have to be, because of my mother, it would be A Touch of Paradise by Johnny Farnham, who's an Australian artist. And I hate listening to that song. Or Queen. Lots of Queen. We listen to a lot of Queen.
We listened to Pink Floyd, Steve Miller Band, Aerosmith. I love Aerosmith. What was the first thing you learned to cook?
Toast? Does toast?
I mean, like, I don't know, because that question just seems like everybody's is going to be something simple, like a peanut butter jelly sandwich or something. But, I mean, if the first real thing that, like, maybe required, like, you using a stovetop or something.
Spaghetti bolognese.
Spaghetti bolognese?
Spaghetti bolognese.
What's bolognese?
You don't... It's like a...
Is that an Australian thing?
No, it's an Italian thing.
Oh.
It's like a red meat sauce. Oh, it can be meat.
I know spaghetti and meatballs, but...
No, this is like, it's a mince. It's not meatballs.
I'm also vegan.
But I'm currently vegetarian, so...
What was... Okay. So, I mean, I'm trying to think of what my first thing that I would learn to cook was, I guess stir fry and stuff, because I loved stir fry to begin with, and I would kind of experiment with that and do different sauces and such. What room in the house do you like spending most time in?
My bedroom.
Yeah, same here. And pretty much every house that I've been in, I haven't lived in like a whole house to myself, you know, like there's always somebody else living there, like a roommate or something. Even when I lived on my own, I lived with like 7 other roommates and such, so I would stay in my room all the time, pretty much. Where is the furthest you've ever traveled?
Here, the US. And I've probably traveled a lot more in the US than I have in my previous history. I've got on a hell of a lot of planes. I've been to several states and cities during this trip, and so I've been to like San Diego, LA, San Francisco, New York, Chicago, New Jersey, Philadelphia, Boston, New Hampshire, where else have I been? Portland, Oregon, Minneapolis, Delaware and Toledo in Ohio, and now in Cookeville. And then I fly back to LA and I go home this upcoming Friday, the 24th.
The furthest I've ever traveled is, of course, Australia, when I visited this dude. And the next question is, what's the most prettiest city you've ever been in? And again, it would be Brisbane, because that was the biggest city I've ever been in. So, yeah.
Prettiest city. That's hard. I'd probably have to say Melbourne. Melbourne is one of like the most beautiful cities I've been to, art-wise and culture-wise. Greenery-wise, it has to be Brisbane. I love Brisbane because of that. But yeah, I think that would be it. But San Francisco is very high on that list. After being there and seeing like the mysterious Avalon fog and everything, it was actually really quite beautiful. So
yeah, you're still surprised about the fog here.
Well, it doesn't get so foggy where I am.
What is your ideal comfort food?
Oh, my ideal comfort food.
Ice cream. Or pizza. Oh, I love pizza. Or Thai food. I love Thai food. Those are my 3
Pizza would be pretty high. Usually for me, like, it'll be either Vegemite on toast, which I've been really craving, and I've been wanting, because that makes me think of home, or creamy basil pesto pasta, possibly with chicken or without chicken, depending on how I am at the time.
Who would you have a drink with from history?
Who would I have a drink with from history?
Mine would be Lao Tzu, the guy who wrote the Tao Te Ching, which is what Taoism, which is that other religion I mentioned a while ago. It just the whole religion and the book that he wrote about it just seems really, really deep, and I would love to talk to him. Who would you pick?
I don't know. Most of the people that I'd probably want to have drinks with are living, and I've had drinks with them right now.
That's still from history.
I know,
they're
but
just not dead.
most of the people I've had drinks with, so...
Well, then who did you enjoy having a drink with?
Actually, I'd probably want to have a drink with my grandmother. Because now that I'm much older, because I lost her... She passed away when I was about 15, actually, when I started practicing. And I think it was either right after I started practicing or right before. But, yeah, I'd probably want to sit down and have a drink with her and have a chat and everything. I've very much been getting into my ancestry and have a lot of questions I'd love to ask her because I'm quite curious about it. And she was, even though she was quite stubborn, and we're both Geminis, and I think we kind of very stubborn Geminis, it would be amazing to have a chat with her about all that sort of stuff. So, yeah, be my grandmother.
What in today's society do you think should be free but is not? Healthcare.
Well, I live in a place where healthcare is pretty much free. Let's see.
Popcorn!
No.
Candy!
Education. I live in a country where education is very expensive, and I think education is a base requirement that everyone should get for free, because that is how our future is going to be. And a lot of the people that run the country that I'm in right now, when they were kids and going through university, their education was free. So I think it should be that. Education. It's a powerful tool.
And hugs.
Hugs are always free. Unless you go to a hug party and then it costs you money.
Okay.
I've been to many cities.
Other than your own religion, what religions do you find interesting and why? And I mean, I find just about any religion interesting, pretty much. But other ones that I've kind of looked in with and maybe not agree with completely, but at least find interesting enough, and if I had to pick something else, I might pick one of these, would be Buddhism and, believe it or not, Satanism. So, yeah.
For me, it would be Shinto. Heathenism.
I like voodoo, too. Voodoo's really cool.
Yeah, voodoo, Santeria.
And hoodoo, which
Condoble.
is just the style of voodoo without the religion.
Yeah, so I suppose having travelled here, I've been working with Alegua and Papa Legba in the forms that he takes, and so I've kind of been connecting through that, and I've had experience with Condoble through a practitioner friend, and yeah, it'd be interesting to explore that more. And yeah, I suppose those.
Have you ever been mentioned in the newspaper?
Yes, several times.
For what?
My local newspaper, for getting extremely high marks when I was in high school for my Japanese, being in the top 10% in the country in this examination.
Cool.
Yeah, and that was for a couple of years.
I was mentioned in the newspaper because I got 3rd place in a statewide science fair, and I got 2nd place in school-wide, but I got 3rd place statewide.
Oh, and I was probably mentioned in the paper when I had my accident.
Oh, and I was in a parade for Native American awareness, and I was in the paper for that too. What single... Oh wait, no, I missed one. What do you feel strongly enough about to protest? Have you been to any protests before?
Yes.
Well, then those are probably the things that you feel strong enough about to protest.
Well, I went to Slut Walk, which I thought was quite incredible. And that was for my birthday last year. It was after, I believe it was a Canadian commissioner in the police, was saying that the reason that women get raped is because of what they wear, and the men are responsible for that. So, yeah, we all went to that for my birthday, and I suppose protested that. But, with we've lost him.
No, keep going.
Okay. I suppose equality stuff for all people. Doesn't matter what, just sex, gender, anything like that. But I suppose environmental stuff is a lot higher on my list, because hell, if we don't have an environment to sustain us, how are we going to live? What about you?
I went to a few protests. I went to one that was about teachers' unions and such, and then I went to another one that was about a stupid law that literally got passed here in Tennessee about staff members of the school not being able to say or mention anything about homosexual relationships at all in school. And this is one of the signs I made. But yeah. And I went around and protested with that, and people still voted for it, I guess, in the House. It wasn't like a state votey thingy, I don't think. I think it was just a representative votey thingy, so it freaking passed. But yeah.
Okay, what's the next one?
What single piece of technology makes your life easier?
My phone.
My phone.
I suppose I've kind of been...
I miss my iPad.
I've been a bit disabled without my phone during this trip, but I've also enjoyed it a lot. I've been using my camera, well, my cameras and recording a lot of stuff a lot this trip, but I suppose my phone is my big technology, because it kind of does everything. I can check emails, I can contact people, I can just be awesome on there.
Also, my computer rocks because it lets me play video games. Would you be willing to live off the grid?
It all
No
depends.
technology.
No, you can have technology
Except
living off the
for,
grid.
like, a light bulb and
No, you can
stuff
live
that
off the
doesn't
grid.
let you be social in the internets. Like, you couldn't have a phone. You couldn't have...
Off the grid means power
Internet.
off. Like if you're not like
I'm just
connected to
saying,
power.
whenever I hear off the grid, it's like somebody's off the map. Like, you can't find them, basically, if you try to. You can't contact them.
No, the people when I hear off the grid,
You have to, like, go to their
they're-
house.
They're off the power grid.
Well, anyway, would you be willing to do that?
What, live off the power grid?
Yeah.
Yeah, easy enough. It depends on what sort of power source I'm using. In Australia, I suppose solar power has been a very high use, and I know several people who live off the grid right now, and they still have social medias and internet.
Well, how do they have that if they don't have power?
Because they have solar power and the generator.
Well, then that's power.
Yeah, but they don't pay for it. Living off the grid is...
See, I don't think that's the same thing.
Living off the grid means that you don't pay the government for their electricity, or the companies for it. You sustain your own power.
I don't know. Anyway, if that's what that means, then I would be willing to do that because that would be easier. But if living off the grid means living without technology and internet and such, then hell to the no. And I like camping and stuff, but I just can't go forever without such things. And I kind of get badgered by some other pagans and such for having that view, but whatever.
I suppose it would depend, like, for me though, am I off the grid all the time?
Well, it says, would you be willing to live off the grid? So yes.
Oh, I suppose so.
If you did not need the money, what would you do for work? I would be a therapist, which is what I plan on being anyway.
Well, I don't know. I don't know what I would be.
Or I'd be an artist, but I don't really follow like a rhythm of create this many art projects this week or whatever. Like, I just randomly get inspired and do stuff.
I suppose I'd probably travel around and take lots of photos and film things and just kind of see friends and explore Australia. I haven't seen as much of Australia as I could. I've probably seen more than most, like a lot of people in Australia. I've seen more of American than a lot of Americans have seen. So I'd really like to travel, I think. And yeah, just record a lot and share my experiences. And yeah, kind of raise awareness about, like, on this trip I've pretty much mostly been living off a vegetarian diet and realizing that it's possible in America to do that and it doesn't cost you an arm and a leg.
Yeah, but you're also living with Australian prices. But yeah, I also agree with you. But yeah. What daily activity bores you? Eating. Eating bores me, even though it's yummy. Like it's... No, sleeping bores me. I hate sleeping. I hate going to sleep because I feel like it's boring to go to sleep. But yeah.
I don't know really. Traveling in cars can usually be quite boring for me, but then I try to find things to entertain me. I suppose traveling anywhere can kind of be boring, but then I usually either take a book or I'll just look for things and try to entertain myself. But if I get bored, I try to draw something else to my attention and I'll change that, and yeah.
Do you prefer sunrises or sunsets, and why? I prefer sunsets because I'm a vampire.
I love sunrises when I've stayed up all night and I'm seeing it, and that's amazing. But I also love that once a year, with my Morris side, we'll get up on May 1st and dance the sun up, and I love that with sunrises. But then it really confuses me, and I don't know what time of the day is it, but I suppose it really depends. I like, if I'm on the ocean or near the ocean, sunsets and sunrises are beautiful there. It's hard to choose. I'm gonna go with sunrise though.
Okay, last question. What superpower would you have?
Oh, you first.
Mine would be to shoot spaghetti out of my nipples.
Really?
No, my power would be to teleport.
I've often thought about this one. It's really hard. I suppose it would either be transmogrification, where I can change my form into whatever I want. Or the other one I always wanted was to be multilingual, to understand and be able to speak, write, and know every language that has been and will be and that is currently in existence.
That's cool.
Yeah. Every language, including animals. I want to be able to talk to everything. But then again, everything could talk to me then, and then that would be the downside of that power.
Okay. Bye.
Crazy, crazy cool.